Good morning, Bakerton. What a blessing it is to gather together again this morning on a Sunday morning and to say how much I appreciate uh, being your pastor and sharing your love and support. What a week it has been as we looked at COVID-19, and then we looked at the racism in America. We looked at all of the stuff around us, and then on top of that, just the regular stuff we have to deal with. Wow, what a week it has been. And so this morning, I just want to say good morning to you and let you know that I really do appreciate you, and I want to thank you for continuing to tune in. We've had a great week at our church. We've just done some phenomenal things, and that's a large tribute to the membership of our church. And so thank you for being a part of our church. I just want to say a quick word to us this morning as we think about all the stuff we will deal with and all the stuff we have to deal with. Let me begin by just telling you that I often go back and reread Dr. King's letter to the from a Birmingham jail, and you'll realize that was many years ago during the height of the struggle. And in that letter, Dr. King mentioned the fact that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What affects one directly affects all of us indirectly. And so the question often comes, why are people demonstrating across the nation instead of just in Minneapolis? Why are people just demonstrating across the country as opposed to staying localized? And somebody would say, well, why, ask the question of Dr. King, why are you here in Birmingham? Why'd you even come? And he says this very pointedly, that if my Jewish brothers said they had enough Jewish power to take care of any Jewish problem, he said he would still speak out against injustice, because we're all tied together in a single garment of destiny, I think he says. Well, what that really means is we cannot be silent in Georgia while our brothers are hurting in Minneapolis. We cannot be silent. And so we speak out. Now, I'll be quick to tell you that there are folk who has been and will continue to be simply infiltrators. We learned from previous national unrest that people come in simply to cause unrest. Sometimes it is very demonically inspired, for lack of a better word, because these folk are determined to cause as much havoc as they can to discredit the legitimate people who are protesting. We cannot let that happen. We cannot be so caught up on the fact that somebody got out of hand that we fail to realize the root cause. And so I said several times, don't talk to me about the rioting if you don't want to talk about the lynching. Don't talk about the looters if you don't want to talk about the cause that brought them to that point. And so, my brothers and my sisters, it's time for us in America to have some serious dialogue about the status of race in America. There are those of us who thought that with the election of President Barack Obama that we had moved to a post-racial era and that everything was all right. Sadly, we found out that it wasn't. And so, I want to ask you, brothers and sisters, to join me in prayer for our nation, for our country. that we'll be able to be the country that we ought to be. We'll be able to be brothers and sisters that we ought to be. I'm really saddened. I'm really saddened by the fact that many folk, many good friends will part company because of the current situation. Don't let that happen. Let's bind together and be the country and love one another as God has called us to love. Now, in order to do that, we cannot do that by simply saying, I don't see color. For my white friends and for I want you to see me as a black man. And I see you as a white man or white brother, white sister. That's why I see you. I want you to see me for who I am. If you fail to see that, then you really discredit, look away from my heritage. So we got to recognize that and to recognize we are different. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God made us that way. So I've gone on for a moment or two this morning. Just want to tell you my heart. My heart's heavy as I think about our country and our nation. And I know we can be better. And brothers, sisters, it begins with you. It begins with me. We've got to do better. Jesus says in Matthew 7:12, the contemporary English version says it like this: treat others as you want them to treat you. And so when we look around at all the stuff happening in our world, can I tell you, we've got to treat others as you want them to treat you. My brothers and my sisters, we can look around and we can lay the blame on a lot of different areas. But we're not going to get any better by playing the blame game. I realize that the current climate in our nation comes down from the top. But we cannot blame folk. We must do what we can where we are and do what we can when we can. And so, listen, I'll almost end by telling you this. You're not kind to other people because they are kind to you. You are kind because you are kind. If I was kind because of other people and the way they treat me, then I might be very selective in who I was kind to. But the Spirit of the living God within me requires me to be kind to you, even if you're not kind to me. So, Jesus says it, treat others as you want them to treat you. That's my prayer. That's my prayer for America, that we will treat other folk as we want them to treat me. And if you do that, we can make this world a better place. I hope you'll join me in praying for America. And I've been encouraged over the past week or so as I looked at the number of my colleagues who have spoke out. Now, can we all do a better job? Sure we can. But I'm encouraged by the number of those who have made Facebook posts and spoke out and led, if you will, spoke to their congregations and said that we can do better. I want us to do better. I really do. And I know that we can do better if we practice treating other folk as we want to be treated. We can do better. Would you join me at 9:30 for our Sunday school hour. Deacon Harris is going to be doing that. If you'll join us right here, we'll be happy to just join in with you during Sunday school, and then come back again at the 11 o'clock hour, and we'll see you at 11 o'clock for our Sunday morning service. Again, I'm so excited and so proud to be the pastor of the Baconton Missionary Baptist Church, where the Word of God brings victory. And even during this season, I believe there's a word from the Lord that will bring victory to your souls. We can, we will, and we must do better. And so I challenge you to do this for me as I leave you. Look around in your own sphere of influence. And it's a blessing to see several of my white friends that have come on this morning. I want you to look around in your own sphere of influence and ask yourself, am I doing all I can do to make the world a better place? Folk will listen. Folk are waiting on a word. Folk are waiting on us as preachers to stand up and say something about the current situation. And so I challenge you, in your sphere of influence, say something. Say something. Say something. And challenge other folk to say something. We're going to get better as we dialogue. God bless you, my friend. See you at 9:30 and again at 11 o'clock for our morning worship service.